Welcome to the Fertility Mind podcast. I am your host, Jessica Friesen, a certified fertility mindset coach, a sound healer, and an international best-selling author. My mission for this podcast is to give you weekly episodes where you hear my own success with IVF and how mindset and manifestation changed it all for me. You will also hear from my guests who share their success stories in the fertility world. I want you to know that you are not alone. Even when things feel tough and when things feel like they aren't going your way, the tools and techniques you will get in this podcast, I know can change everything for you too. So thanks for being here with me today, and let's dive in. Hello and welcome back. Today I want to talk to you about energetics. I want to talk to you about the energetics of you, the energetics of your fertility journey, the energetics of money, the energetics of your mind. So when I tell you 5 minutes in your imagination, connecting to your goals, your dreams, your desires, and feeling how it would feel if you had all of these things right now is far more impactful, powerful, and productive than being so present, observing and living your task-oriented life that has not got you to where you want to be. So how this podcast episode came, I was on a conversation with a client, and her husband actually joined in on this conversation over Zoom, and we were chatting. He really wanted to know who I was and what I was teaching his wife, and she gave me full permission to share, I should say that. So a backstory of my client: her and her husband have been on a fertility journey for the last 6 years, and they've had 5 egg retrievals. And up until this point, they have had no success. They have not even achieved pregnancy. So when I asked her about spending 5 minutes in her imagination, she said to me, she goes, I'm sorry, this feels a bit childish. She said, I do not understand how this is productive. So that really got me into the energetics. And I said, are you okay if I share some of this on my podcast? I think people really need to understand the energetics. And she said, yes, absolutely. So when I work with my clients, I want to understand their limiting beliefs. I want to understand their emotional impacts and their triggers. And I want to work within what they are comfortable working within to get them to where they can be, so that they can think from the end result. And part of thinking of the end result is that 5 amazing minutes in your imagination, really feeling the wish fulfilled. So as we were talking, I was asking, I gave them homework. I asked them to both journal for 2 weeks, but for the first week, I asked them to journal how they felt right now in their fertility journey, how they felt on their fertility journey as a whole, and how do they want to feel. And then the whole second week, just focusing on what it is that they want to feel, only what it is that they want to feel. And as we were talking about this, I was asking them both, but specifically her, I said, like, how do you want to feel? And she's like, I would love to feel this, but. And I said, I got to stop you every time you say but. You're allowed to feel however you want to feel. You're allowed to choose your thoughts. You're allowed to not pay attention to everything that's going on around you and focus on what you want. And I said, you are when this, then that, then I can do this. So she was saying, like, when I get the phone call from my fertility clinic that I'm pregnant, then I can start thinking about my pregnancy announcement. Then I can start thinking about, my pregnancy clothes. Then I can start thinking about the nursery. Then I can start thinking about this. And I said, I want you to start thinking now. Take away all the buts. But what if this doesn't work? But what? I said, get rid of all of those and start focusing on what it is that you want. I started talking to her about the energetics of her mind and the power of frequencies and vibrations. I talked all about that with her. And she was just like a sponge, absorbing all of this because she had never done end result thinking. So she had disclosed, like, at the beginning, she got excited about, certain things, but the longer and longer you're on your fertility journey, you don't even go there because it becomes more painful. And because her and her husband are both only children, they're watching their friends have babies and, keep expanding their family. They're feeling really left behind. And they're also feeling like they don't really relate anymore because they have, a lot more time flexibility to do things, whereas their friends have young children and there's only certain things that they can do. And they can't relate when they start going in, when they hang out as groups and they go in and people start talking about their children and they can't relate. And then we started talking about the energetics of money. So, how we started getting into the energetics of money is I asked them how they were feeling about paying for fertility treatments. And, she said, in truth be told, she said, a lot of our dominant conversations right now are how much money are we going to keep throwing at fertility because it's not working? What is the amount that we're going to spend before we're completely done? Or how many more times are we going to try before we are done and realize it's just not working for us, that maybe it's just not in the cards? And her husband chimed in and he said, well, the truth is, he said, I often more than not, I really think about all the money that we've already spent so far on fertility. And I think about all the trips that we could have gone on. I think about the renovations that we could have done in our house. And I looked at him and I said, that is a beautiful awareness. And he kind of just like stopped in his tracks. He said, what do you mean? I said, you were aware of where your thoughts are going. So now we can work with how we can switch and flip those perspectives and get you to where you want to be. And he seemed a little bit more intrigued and more excited. So I was telling them about a book that I had read in the summer about a woman who wanted to become a self-made millionaire. And I said to them, I said, just listen to me because this really ties in the power of your imagination, but it also ties in energetics of money and how you can flip things. So this woman wanted to become a self-made millionaire, and on her days off, she lived in LA. She would go into very ritzy hotels, like $4,000 to $10,000 a night hotels, and go onto the pool deck. She would order a drink and order, fun, fancy food. And she would just absorb what it was like to be surrounded by such wealth. She listened to how they talked about money, how they spent their money. She really absorbed all of it. And then what she would do is she would go into her imagination, and no matter what day of the week it was, she would say, like, this is a Monday afternoon. I'm sunbathing, I'm eating amazing food, and I'm working from my phone because I am a multimillionaire. And she kept saying that to herself. She kept seeing this in her mind, like this is her everyday life. She does this every day. Even though her physical bank account did not say she was a millionaire, let alone a multimillionaire, and she was doing this on her day off and she was sneaking in. She didn't physically pay to be at that hotel or to use that pool. She got really creative. So when I was sharing this story with them, I was saying, she is now a multimillionaire, but this was part of understanding the energetics, the energetics of wealth, the energetics of paying for things with excitedness. And that's where we got into the fertility. They were both paying for fertility treatments, feeling like we're just throwing spaghetti at the wall, hoping something is going to stick. We're spending money for hope with no guarantee. And every time they paid for fertility treatments, there was that negativity, that lack that surrounded them of, I don't even know if this is going to even work. And the limiting belief and underlying honest, true belief that they're starting to really believe this was not in the cards for them. So the more we talked about the energetics of money and how to start feeling really good about money, you could start to see differences. And when we were talking about being in her imagination, she was starting to understand the energetics of her imagination. And he was willing to start, doing some things as well. He was a bit more skeptical than she was. And there was nothing wrong with that. I said to him, I said, if you could spend 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the afternoon, and 5 minutes before bed, you are like really, really harnessing vibrations and frequencies and really taking action to doing things. And, I said, because when you observe your everyday life, even when you're in the middle of a fertility cycle, yes, you're going to your fertility appointments, you're taking those actions, you're following your medical protocol, but your mindset and your energetics of you and what you've been on in your fertility journey is your limiting beliefs and the truth that you don't believe that this is going to happen. If you don't believe manifesting is going to work for you, it will not work for you. If you don't believe that you have the power, you won't have the power. Your mindset and the energy of your mind is so incredibly powerful. And that's why just 5 minutes a day is so much more productive, connecting to what you want, where you become in an alignment and in a vibrational match to what it is that you want, where you can start to see the synchronicities, where you can start to be open and you start to feel. And if anything, you are changing your vibration. You're starting to find more joy in the journey. You're starting to find more gratitude, and you're far more focused on what you want than what you don't want. Because every time we focus on things that we don't want, we're always manifesting. And when you're focusing on the things that you don't want, you're in that lower vibration and attracting lower vibrational things to you. So we were talking about the energetics of them as a couple. We were talking about, I asked them to journal about how they felt about each other during this, how they feel that they can support each other better. I was getting them to do this because I wanted them to start having conversations and start thinking and big picture thinking. So I even asked them to journal, what would your first family vacation look like? Because travel is something that they really enjoy doing. Where would you each go? And I said, I want you to journal separately and then I want you to talk about it because, most likely they're going to want to go two different places. But this is a conversation opener for them. And it's something where they can both start dreaming big. Maybe her destination is the first one and his destination is the second one. Or maybe they combine, two of the destinations somewhere else in the world. They just got exciting and they really started to understand the energetics of being in their imagination and in their mind and how good it felt. And they were both saying this is the first time in a very, 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 very long time they felt excited. This is the first time in a very long time, if ever, they actually got to the end result. And so then we started talking about the energy of their home. I asked them, I said, in your house, I said, so to signify to the universe that you're ready for your desired family, I said, do you have a nursery for the baby or your babies? And she said, we do, but it's kind of a catch-all room right now. And I said, so again, another piece of homework is I want you to go clear out that space. And I said, every night before you go to bed, I said, just open the door a crack and just say, good night, my love, and close the door and go to bed. And they both just got this smile on their face. And they said, well, yeah, we can do that. I said, you're signifying to the universe, you're creating an energy in your home that you're ready for baby. You have the space ready for them and you're saying goodnight to them because you're also saying that baby is here. Even though baby isn't physically here, that is an energy. You're saying goodnight to your baby. That is an energy. That is an excitedness. This is the energy of your fertility journey. We are flipping the energy together. So as I'm working with them and talking to them, I'm feeling their excitedness. I'm feeling how they are changing their energy, how they're really starting to progress from where they were to where they want to be and how they can keep doing this going forward. So when we talked about little things that they can do now, and, you know, I asked the husband, I said, I'm going to ask you a question. I said, have you ever held your friend's babies? And he said, yeah. I said, how do you feel? And he said, awkward. He said, I'm always like, I'm afraid I'm going to break them. He said, they're so tiny and fragile. And I said, okay, so next time you spend time with your friends, I said, I want you to hold their baby or toddler or whatever age the child is. And I said, I want you to hold that, feel the weight of the baby in your arms, or feel the weight of, the toddler on your shoulder or on your hip. And I said, I want you to sit for a second and be like, wow, this is my baby. And I said, when you pass the baby off, however you pass the baby or toddler off, I said, I want you to feel that feeling of like your friends are so excited for you that you've had a baby, or, like they just love your kid. It's so sweet and so amazing. And pass it to them, but hold this idea or thought in your mind that this is your baby, that you're passing it to your friend, and that they're so excited. And he thought, I've never thought to do anything like that. And I said, but that's the point of being in your imagination. You can start connecting to a feeling that you don't know the feeling. If you've never been a parent, you don't know that exact feeling, but you can tap into it. You can absolutely tap into it 100%. And you can tap into it by feeling the weight of the child or baby, and being like, oh my gosh, this is mine, and passing it to your friend and be like, they're so excited to like just hold my baby or connect or just like, love on my child. You can flip their perspectives to get the ideas, to get the feelings. You can really change everything without physically changing anything. It's the energetics. So yes, there's energy around money. When you feel really negative paying for those payments, that's an energy. And by saying and reminding them that this is your journey, how do you want to feel? And when you get your desires and your goals and your dreams, when you look back, how do you want to connect the dots? Do you want to start feeling love and joy and gratitude right now and be in a place of confidence and happiness? Or do you want to keep doing your task-oriented life of eat, sleep, repeat, same routine, and feeling the same feelings, but just holding on to that hope? Hope is absolutely the first step. But hoping and wishing and wanting doesn't get rid of the limiting beliefs. And it really signifies that you hope that this can happen, but you really don't believe it. I want you to understand that your mind is so incredibly powerful, and that the energetics of you is, again, it's that frequency and vibration, it's that tuning in. So when I say to my clients, like, think of a radio station. If you hear a song on the radio that you don't like, you either turn off the radio or you find another song. That's the same thing that you can do with your thoughts. When something undesirable is happening, turn it off and say, I don't want to focus on that. This is where I want to focus my thoughts on today. I don't want to be in a place where everything is not working, because I don't want to believe that that is my story. So as the conversation went on, she really understood, and she's like, now I understand why being in my imagination is more powerful and it is productive, because it's going to set me up for a better mood in my days, but it gives me something to be excited for, that I get to be in my imagination. I get to start feeling this. I get to start thinking this, and practical things that they can start doing right now, like, opening up the door and saying, good night, my love. And, when they're with their friends, not feeling like, they're being left behind or that they don't relate, that they can start imagining this feeling right now and start feeling good, and eliminate that negative feeling of this, we should start accepting that this just isn't for us. We also got through the whole conversation. So I asked her about her daily lifestyle, how she feels in general, and how she can start living right now. Throughout the conversation, we were talking about, she asked, like, do I follow a specific plan? Do I do this? Like, what do I do? Like, you're telling me how I should, master my mind. How should I do this right now? Like, what should I be eating? What should I be doing? So I asked her, I said, well, what have you been doing so far? And she disclosed, I gave up coffee for a year, and she's like, I was miserable, but she's like, I was willing to do it because I read that, coffee could impact your fertility. And she said, I don't drink anymore. Like, I don't have any alcohol, not even on any special occasions, not even one glass. And she said, for the last 2 years, I've been following like Whole30 or clean eating, because I've really understood that my body is a temple and it needs to be working at its optimal health. So I asked her a question. I said, if you knew you could get pregnant right now, naturally, what would you do different in your life? And she's like, oh my gosh, when we go out for dinner with our friends, like I would love to have a glass of wine or a cocktail. She's like, I would love to have a dessert every now and then that's not following, the whole 30 plan. She's like, I'd probably do like 80-20. She's like, I really do enjoy eating healthy food. And she said, I would love, like, if I felt tired, I could have more than one coffee a day. And I said to her, I said, okay, number one, I am not a doctor, so follow your doctor's medical protocol. I'm not asking you to go against that. I said, but we're discovering right now that you're not living. You are so restricting every part of you and you don't feel good about it. You just keep telling yourself you're doing this so your body is optimal for baby. I said, there's an energy of your body too. So I said to her, I said, I want you to start living. I want you to start knowing that you're going to be pregnant and eat what feels right for you and follow what is right for you along with the guidance of your doctor. But I want you to start living. I want you to be free-spirited and live. Because if you weren't in the fertility world, how would you be doing this differently? What would you naturally want to do if you could do this naturally? And that got her and her husband thinking so differently, because as soon as you enter a fertility world, it seems like everything has to change. You can't do this, you can't do that. What if you do this? What if you do that? And I say no, because if you just had sex and got pregnant, what did you do that night? Did you go out on a date night? Did you have a glass of wine? Did you go see a movie? Were you traveling in Italy and trying the most amazing wines and cheeses and pastas? What were you doing that, you conceived your child naturally? What would you want to do? Do not restrict your lifestyle to the point that everything holds an energy of lack, or I have to do this in order for this. So there was so many more aha moments on our call, but her husband left the call excited of who she's working with. And she left the call, they both had something to chat about. They both had homework of saying, clearing out the space. They had the homework of saying goodnight, my love. They had the homework of connecting together and start thinking about their trips, start thinking about, think about each pregnancy milestone, but also think about what you're going to do when baby's here. Things that you might not think to do. It's okay to create a baby registry. You don't have to make it public. It's okay to go in to baby stores and actually look at things. If you are in a space that you can do that, go do that. They're not going to judge you because you could be picking up something for anyone. No one's going to be like, oh, you're not pregnant, you shouldn't be here. No. People buy gifts for people all the time. So I want you to be in a place and space where you can feel creative, you can be in your imagination and know that even 5 minutes a day is so impactful, powerful, and it is so productive. Because when you get up and do everything day after day after day, and you're just going through the motions of the day, you won't notice the things. You won't feel the way you want to feel. You're just going through the motions. And yes, you may be doing the physical actions of following medical protocols, but don't we want to follow your medical protocol with a place of joy and gratitude and love and a place of confidence versus doing a place of, my gosh, this injection hurts, or this blood draw is awful, or good old Wanda, here she is again, and holding all of those emotions and all of those feelings within you inside. So I am incredibly thankful that my client agreed for me to share as much as I have, because I really want everyone listening right now to understand the energetics of you and understand your energetics of your fertility journey and how you can flip everything to even slightly more in a higher vibration if it's in a really low vibration. I want you to optimally be vibrating high and tuned into that frequency in the most perfect alignment with your desires, your goals, and your dreams. But my client is not the first person to say, being in my imagination feels silly, or, they close their eyes and they're like, I see a black screen, like I don't see anything, or that has never actually done the end result thinking because of emotional impacts or because of things. They're just living where they are right now and filled with fear and filled with all of the lower vibrational emotions. So I wanted to share with you today, as I was on that call, I'm like, I just need to turn this into an episode because there is energetics of everything. You can change every area of your life. I focus on fertility because this is my heart, this is my passion. But I want you to know it's okay to find joy in the journey right now. It is okay to have good days and bad days. You do not have to be perfect. And by all means, give yourself love and grace that if you didn't go in your imagination after listening to this episode today, do it tomorrow. Or maybe you were in your imagination for 5 minutes, but just your mind was all over the place. That's okay too. There's no wrong way of doing this. I just want you to start and keep telling yourself, the more I do it, the better and better and better I get, and the more crystal clear my visions are becoming. Because I want you to achieve what it is that you want to achieve. I want you to understand how 5 minutes in your imagination is so, so, so productive. Daydreaming is not a non-productive thing. It's a great thing. It's also where you can start connecting with, maybe a baby name will come to you. Lots of things can come to you while you're in your imagination. It's a place that you can create. And it's also a place that you can go to when undesirable situations are going on around you. It's a place that you can say, although right now in this exact second in time, things are not where I want them to be, but I'm going to go to where they are, where I want them to be, and where I know everything exists. So that I can bring it, I can collapse time, and I can bring it down here a whole heck of a lot faster. So I am sending each and every one of you so much love, and I'm asking you to connect to the energetics of you.
If you found this helpful or know anyone that needs to hear this, please share. And don't forget to leave a review and subscribe. In love and gratitude.